I'm sitting on the bed in my cave looking out my back door, patio door, and the moon is rising. It's the 23rd day of the month, and it's a full moon. It looks like a big harvest moon.
I thought we had that already.
Today's the day.
Oh, today's the day.
Yeah.
I thought somebody told me it was like a month ago.
Well, there's a full moon every month.
Yeah. But but the harvest moon is supposed to be like looks kind of orange, they say. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it depends where you live. Because it's kept warmer temperatures this year, October is basically giving us the kind of moon we normally get at the end of September.
Yeah, I was looking at a little show on, we're talking about the universe and different galaxies, and one thing that they're saying that, eventually one of the galaxies will collide, like Andromeda will collide with the Milky Way. Well,
they're all expanding, so.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
You're not talking in the phone yet.
Hello?
Now you are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Stuff. There's like so much I don't know about it. But I'm learning a little bit about it. Piece by piece.
You've got a long way to go. You're just a kid yet.
Yeah. I'm just a baby goat, man. Just a baby.
Baby. Yeah.
But I know I don't look at it as a burden. I look at it like it's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, well, you have an advantage over most people. You started earlier.
Yeah, but sometimes that advantage can what's the word? Make you alone. Distance you.
Well, you're leaving the crowd. Most of the young people are not going in that direction.
Yeah, they're not. So the only people I know who similar directions, they all seem to be spread out across the planet, miles and miles away from me.
Yeah.
They're not here for the most part. So. But then you never know, there could be people out there. So I'm still...
Well, I suspect we have a critical mass living. The problem is putting them all together.
And the system really, really tries to hinder that process of getting these types of individuals together, I see.
Well, you have Citizenship and Immigration Canada blocking the border from allowing people like Jennifer in, and yet making up new rules for the Tamil from Sri Lanka coming by the boatload.
Yeah. So, and I learned from you, don't let it get you angry.
Can't get angry.
Yeah, because
serves no purpose.
Yeah, because Glenn, I'm dealing with hurdles over here, and it's just crazy the stuff I deal with over here that I've been going through. Yeah, my research, I've been finding things. I guess the most recent thing I can remember right now, off the top of my head, I was researching the pole stars. Not the polar areas of the planet. One's called Zenith, one's called Nadir. And Nadir is like, I guess he was an important figure in history. He was like the Shah of Persia, and he looted the land. and there's like this one jewel I've seen you mention it in your post a long time ago. I forgot, it's a jewel that's really known. No something, I think it's called. And, so I don't think it's a coincidence that he has the same name as one of the poles of the planet, Nadia. Mm-hmm. And then the other pole is called Zenith. So I guess they're saying Zen is connected to it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But yeah, I just recently got a book called The Way of the Gods, Shinto.
Yeah.
And it seems really interesting, like because that was the original religion.
Shinto?
That was the earliest one, because it was more about like ancestral worship.
Yeah, but it had no gods in what I know of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a basic cultural thing more than a religious thing.
Mm.
They have no rules and regulations in Shinto.
Mm. Yeah, I know it's a lot of the first, I guess, religions, you know, call them, they didn't have that much restrictions, it seemed like. And over time, they made more and more restrictions.
Yeah, thou shalt not seems to be the way. When are they going to start telling you thou shall?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still looking at the words. It's always somebody asked me, or somebody asked me a question. I actually realized something. Some guy was like, "What do they always mean by they? Who's they?" And I was thinking about, I was like, the why.
Yeah, that's who they are. All you have to do is find out where all the money goes, and it's theirs. Theirs is the IRS.
Yeah, and that's when I was looking at that documentary on the black hole. It was like they were showing like one scene with the black hole, and that's exactly what I guess the computer does. Is just like this powerful force that just sucks everything inside of it. It's a big hole or a dot or a circle or whatever in the middle. So yeah, Glenn, that's.
But you got to remember the latest data on black holes has come to the conclusion that it does not hold everything inside the black hole, but it spills out on the edges the way a bathtub would if you put too much water in it.
Yeah. So, like, what do you think it does with this stuff? You think it's recycling it?
Yeah, sure. It's the same thing as the core of the Earth. You know, it's a recombination going on, a cleansing. You failed the last time here, try this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I watch your videos again. I always see every once in a while. I'll pop them back in.
Yeah.
I heard you at one part. You said the inside is called where the activity is going on. You said the inside is called the empty quarter.
Yeah.
Now, why would they say the empty quarter? Like as a basketball game or?
Well,
the circle around it's like a big.
What should be there and is not there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is more important than what is said. No answer is an answer.
Yeah, they know that in law too. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
The whole law thing. Yeah, I know somebody who's been learning about that stuff. You probably would know more about that than I do. Like I guess the point I'm at, it does seem interesting knowing about like those little like how they have meanings of like in the court. Like he was telling me, like when you go to court, as soon as you go to court, you're already saying, like,
you acknowledge.
Yeah, like say if a cop approaches you, like, your best, what you should do, he was telling me, don't even say anything. Don't, because as soon as you say something, you're kind of screwing yourself. But I don't know those rules and regulations. That's all. Seems like a lot of. It does definitely seem interesting. You've learned that stuff, going to court and doing all that.
I've been there often enough.
Yeah. So
there is something that one should say when they go to court, and hold back on everything else. And the thing that should be said in court was, when they hand you the Bible, you say, do you guys believe in this? Is this the truth as far as you're concerned?
Yeah.
And then when they say yes, you say, well, then my defense is Luke chapter 2, verses 40 to 49.
Yeah.
So if you believe everything that's in there, you know that anything anyone does is not their responsibility. It's their program.
Yeah. But then the judge will say, well, it can be interpreted this way, because he's the one that always seems to have the last say in interpretation.
Yeah, but you've already set the rules of the game when you ask them, do you guys believe in this?
Yeah.
You can't change the rules. The words are there. See? I am about my father's
business.
Whatever. There's about 6 different words that fit at the end there, but they all mean doing what my program says.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I have before I forget, there's a guy I know who's been trying to call you from Australia.
Yeah, a guy called Heath.
Heath? I think his name is Heath. Yeah.
Heath.
Yeah, Heath. Yeah. From Australia. He said he was trying to get in contact. I've been coming in contact with certain people. One guy just recently said he was like, can you give credit where it's due? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I guess I made videos or from from information I took from all over the place. And so I gave him information where I got it from, and he's like, no, I was like, that's not what I meant. Can you give credit where it's due? Or whose side are you on? Are you on creation side or creator side? And I didn't know how to reply to that because I thought I made it obvious, but I guess I don't know. Some
people like precision.
Oh.
Me, I just observe, analyze, and conclude. Other people, they want to hear the words.
Yeah.
They want to see it spelled out.
Yeah. I know. I think in my thinking, observing and analyzing, sometimes the actions say so much more than what the words. A lot of the time, most of the time. Sometimes the body language says a lot.
Can't see that on the net unless you're in a video.
Yeah. Have you spoken to Brian from Brazil?
No.
Yeah. I think I talked to him about a month ago, and he's going through his hurdles.
Yeah.
As well.
The last thing I heard, I forget if it was you or
Dana?
Danny, but somebody said that he had got swindled.
Yeah. It was swindled by somebody we thought. I mean, I never met the person, so I can't really say. But I always had suspicions of this person. But I told him that it's just a lesson that he had to learn. I guess about people, hard lessons.
Well, he called me a few times, and he sounded like one of the commercials on TV there.
Yeah, not business. That's what.
Lock or something.
Yeah. No. Oh, now he's just picking up pieces and I guess starting over. So,
well, he's in the place to start over anyway. Brazil should have a lot of opportunities for people starting over.
Yeah. I've been, speaking of which, I've been finding, I was looking at like some news, some stuff when I looked on the news, they had one message. I don't know who they were talking to, but supposedly 33 miners were saved from something collapsing on the ground. I don't know.
Chile.
Yeah, Chile.
But when it began, there were 34 people there.
Yeah, that's what I was like, why 33? Did they just...
What happened to the 34th?
Yeah.
Did they eat them?
Yeah. No, they had to make the ritual perfect, I guess.
Yeah.
I just found out, my cousin just told me, I like my real last name, the last name that we use is just by my marriage. It's not my real last name. I mean, it's my real last name, I guess. It's on all the papers and the books. But I found out, I guess, the last name, if I wanted to follow and trace, I guess, genetically. It's a French last name. You think it would be wise to say it, Glenn? To say it over the phone, or just tell you when I see it?
If you want the world to know, just say it over the phone. But he probably told you over the phone, so they probably know it already.
No, they didn't tell me over the phone. Actually, they came in person and showed me. But I know they said it over the phone. Somebody. So, it's Cormier.
Cormier.
Cormier, yeah. C-O-R-M-I-E-R. Yeah. You got it. Yeah. I don't know what it means yet. I haven't looked into it. But I know I see, corn, M-I-E-R, Mai. It's almost like Mai, and you got rock or core.
Miel, because an R can be an L, can be miel in French, and that would be honey. And so, core, honey.
Core honey. With the French word, Glenn, I'm finding they seem to tell a lot more.
Miel, of course, because the I couldn't be in front, and it would go with core, it would be part of orca, which would suggest the beginning of animal life, the whale, and they call it an orca. And then you're left with mer, which is the sea. So a sea mammal could, in fact, be the definition of Cormier, which would, in fact, come down to Beowulf or something like that. Manatee.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've seen those things, in what you're saying, these things in the encyclopedia, these certain animals, species.
Yeah, an otter.
Yeah. Oh,
they're all kind of different sizes, but they're all basically the same function.
What function is that to like mammals in the water?
Yeah.
So,
Mink, weasel on the ground, mink at the edge of the water, otter in the water, manatee, and whale. There are probably a couple of different levels in there. So you start off big in the water, but you get smaller as you come towards land. You start over again on land. Could also be linked to sea cow of some kind or other, or honey.
Thanks for the hint, Glenn.
Hey?
Thanks for the. See, I was breaking down your name too. Take away the L and your and Glenn, and you're a key generator.
Yeah.
Key gen.
And Glen is the word angel without the A.
Oh. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And Kealey is more the keel on a raft or a boat that is leading the direction, and the direction is EY. The genetically engineered 2-in-1. But it also key in the sense of a key fitted with another part, A and B. I'm like the A. I do the basic foundation, but then it's always someone else who does the end product. I set it all up.
Yeah, and that's what I see, Glenn. You it's like opportunity in a way. So you give people the keys, but the whole opening and it's all up to your specific job is more.
It's how they use it. My job is more development.
Wow.
But there's a process in what I'm doing, and the process is taking away from what Masons call the craft, C-R-A-F-T, and a craft is something that can be put on automatic pilot. They're not in charge. So I throw away the C, and I start with raft. A raft is kind of freelance.
Yeah.
It has no real controls. You can put a kind of a sail on it, but most of the time it's heading wherever it goes out of its own volition type of thing. And that's stage one. You create the raft. In French, the word is radeau. Then, once you have the raft made, the next thing you have to think of is aft. And that means you go to the back. So here I'm building the raft in the front field, and in the back I'm handling the second part of the project, which is shaft. So I'm building or digging 2 shafts in the back that will lead down to approximately 125 feet underground. Once I'm there, then you drop the A and from aft and shaft you're left with FT, and FT is the feet, abbreviation for foot or feet. So by building my project at the back, I will have the two shafts that provide the legs on which feet can be added. Once the feet are added, it's up to the ones from down below to add the soul or the DNA coming from below. I don't know if I've told you this, but you draw a line from Giza to the Azores, a straight line. And then you duplicate that line following the same direction. You end up right at Sault Ste. Marie, where the flushing or the cleansing will begin from. But if you look at where that line travels as it crosses Canada to get to Sault Ste. Marie, one of the places it crosses is right here. So in the sediment below ground here, which would be, you have 23 feet of sediment followed by a 100-foot rock, that brings you to 123 feet. That means that you have 777 feet before you hit the Canadian Shield down there. And in that space, someplace, there's a tunnel that came from the Azores and is on its way to Sault Ste. Marie. I suggest that it's from that tunnel that will rise the people who will come and negotiate the final solution to the problems that we have on Earth. My project will attract the corporate world, the political world, the ecclesiastic world, the military world, the secret societies of male and female. So you'll get, the Valkyries, the unicorn, and the wee men joining up with women and men, and all of them will come to the conclusion that if they continue supporting the plan that they're on, this universe, for all intents and purposes, will expand into oblivion. If they want to reset the timing, however, they have to invite the Neanderthalers to join the debate, the troglodytes from down below. Once everybody is on the same page and they agree that transition did not occur in 2008 as it should have, and the universe is expanding because all the black matter, dark matter that used to be in the universe is being replaced with dark energy. Energy causes expansion. You have to learn certain lessons dealing with gravity in order to have the creator of the singularity reset the timing. Then if they all agree that changes have to occur, they have to stop the system from proceeding down the line it intended to go, and that can only be done by stopping the two computers from giving direction, because the computers don't have feelings, don't have any sense of what's right or wrong. They only have the program that they were programmed with, which was to accumulate, take over, and create slaves. Mostly would do their own shopping. So if that occurs and the computers are stopped and the world comes back to its senses rather than operating on autopilot, then creation can in fact reverse the process that is going on, bring it back to the proper timing and start it up again. And that'll buy us 5,000 years. Hopefully in that 5,000 years, people can become smart instead of intelligent.
Yeah, because when I look at these people, when I'm not, like, I'm trying to be realistic with, when I see people, like, even the people who are realizing, because there's people who want to know, like I've met people who want to know, but they just haven't lived long enough, or and they need like time, and that's something that we kind of don't have right now. Like,
well, I haven't met too many people who want to know.
Yeah,
I've met a lot of people who said they want to know.
Yeah, I the same thing with me.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean they want to know, because if they say something, they got to do something.
Yeah.
And they're not doing what they say they want, so they don't really want, is the way I put it. And I have learned to put this down to immaturity. They may, in chronological time, have reached the point of maturity, but for one reason or another, and often it's drugs or alcohol, that would include most religious people, because they include wine in their daily activities, and leads to alcoholism and all that stuff. They are not mature. They don't put the things in their proper order. They still are making excuses, trying to fit in a system that's broken. And what you have to do, if you really want to learn, to leave the system as much as is physically possible. What I did was, by coming to the farm here, is establish that I will be as out of the system as much as possible. Any funding that comes to me from the outside of my own work, goes to pay the system's requirements, like if they ask for taxes or insurance or mortgages, that kind of stuff. That's where the money goes. So the system pays for the system. Leaves me my money to pay for feeding the animals, doing what I need to do in the way of search, that kind of stuff. Yeah, you need funding, but you don't need it for yourself. You need it just to pay the debts they impose upon you.
Yeah.
So,
like, yeah, that's the problem, I guess. Like, just some people just like I see, like, with women, they're just scared. They're scared of that, like, just the unknown. That what if, like, Because you don't have security.
I'll tell you one thing that Jennifer has come up with from her place in exile that made a lot of sense to me. I told her about the medulla and the controls that the medulla has upon the brain, the chemical and electrical systems of the body, and that originally the intent of that by creation was to differentiate before acting between right and wrong, good and evil, truth and non-truth. And creation set it up in such a way that if you were doing something bad, you would stop ahead of time and feed it through your medulla, and how you felt was known as gut feeling or something like that. And it would stop you from doing something that was evil or a lie or bad.
You see, what you're talking about right there is what has been termed as the irrationality.
Well, what she said was what has happened, and mostly to women, is that they no longer deal with good and evil. They deal with safe and not safe. And therefore, it's safe to follow the crowd. It's not safe to be different. So it's a very tiny misdirection that was fed into the medulla through genetic engineering, and especially with women. So there's risk becomes the equivalent of evil, and safe becomes the equivalent of good, and that's totally wrong. But that's what they have to play with these days because of the programming, the genetic engineering programming. And I thought that was a genius evaluation of what I've been trying to explain, but didn't have.
Because you're not a woman.
Didn't have the right words. I just kept saying, until women join up and do something, it's not going to change.
And the men, they just follow the women. That's basically like, so, like I was saying before, like that gut feeling, that's what's been termed as. It's not something that's rational, but something that is just known. And that's what I think what clan mothers were. They were like, in a larger sense, Neanderthal was like the mind, you could say, straight intelligence. But clan mother was the
spine. Carried the DNA all the way from the sea out of the water and onto the land, where the brain basically took over and
formed itself around that, I think.
Ignores the intuition. Instead of into it, we now have Inuit.
Inuit. I know that. Isn't that a tribe, Indian tribe?
It's Eskimos.
Oh, yeah, Eskimos, yeah. So, by doing that,
the ultimate people of the North are Inuit.
Oh, okay.
And they used to be, if you follow back far enough, in Egypt. They
look
were
like
the sea people around Egypt, the water people.
Yeah, and those Egyptians, I heard too that they kicked out a whole bunch of people that were light-skinned and red-haired, and that's what you call Scots today.
Yeah.
And then, but then the Scots, I guess
they were called
Picts. Yeah.
That's where tattoos come from, because they used to paint themselves. And there's a product called henna, which is used to color red hair, and can also be used for body painting. And that would make more sense. You know, if you want a picture of something on your body, do it with henna. 6 weeks later, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
You know? And you don't have to live with somebody else's name when you're married to someone with a different name.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. Like here, like with the Irish, that name IRS, it makes a lot more sense in it, because that's what in this country, all over the world, they use Irish people as police, priests, military, and that's exactly what they do. They're toll gators.
Well, since an R can be also a T because it's the root, Irish is also the word ship.
Wow. So, but because the Irish, they were Celts. They're like a tribe of and they were more like, I think they were linked more to Neanderthals, because when I look at their tools, I just think of that Moostrian society, when, like, at least when the Romans, because the Romans had the more advanced, seemed like the more advanced type of civilization, but the Celts were more primitive. And I think of just Moostrian, you know, that original technology, I guess you call it. I don't know what you call it, but
I got a call, Jenny, at 8 o'clock. So.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I was looking at the turkey vulture, right? And I was looking at it, and I realized, like, wow, now I know why it has a red head. Because the head is the media, and the black body is just the populace. It's leading the way.
Yeah.
Wow, man. No wonder they use that thing. All right, Glenn. I guess I'll talk to you again.
Okay.
All right.
If you have time for one question,
one more question?
Yeah, if you make it.
How's everybody else? How's Ambika? How's Tom?
Well, they left. Tom took them to Ottawa, and I wasn't here when they left. It was kind of a thing with the cell that I had to do. So I didn't see them when they left, but Tom called back that night, and I wasn't around to take the call. He called back the next day and still wasn't here. And he just left a message that Ambika and he wanted to thank me for the time they've spent at the farm, and that he'd contact me later. So I don't know where they are. For all I know, they could be camped in the back here. That's just weird. Like, they're in Ottawa, and like that's. Yeah, he dropped them off at a what do you call those places where young people stop overnight?
What happened? Say it again.
Hiking.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, say it again. You said something overnight.
Yeah, young people stop off at these homes when they're hitchhiking. What do they call those places?
What? I don't know.
There's a word for them. Cheap place to stay.
A motel, you mean?
Well, not a hotel is an expensive.
No, the motel.
Motel is medium place. What's the cheapest?
The cheapest when I was in Canada, and I was actually in Toronto, for $50. It's like a dorm type of thing. Like everybody shares the same bathroom, but you have your own room.
Yeah, well, it's something like that. That's where apparently Tom drove them downtown Ottawa and left them at one of these places in Ottawa.
Yeah.
But I had told Tom Spence that I really didn't want to know anything about their journey.
Yeah.
The minute I am told, the whole world knows, because the whole world's listening in. So.
Yeah. Well, I think they're pretty low key, both of them. I mean, I don't even know.
It would make sense to me that they would be going back to Scotland.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I were to come anytime soon, would that be like a bad time for me?
Hey?
If I were to come there anytime soon, would that be a bad time?
There's no good time and no bad time.
There's different times.
Yeah.
Different circumstances.
It all is evolving. We are really tight on funds because they cut my pension 41%. Illegally, by the way, but you can't stomp your feet and cry about it. That's what they do, is things that are illegal. By keeping Jenny out of the country, she can't work, so she can't earn an income. And things are basically really tight when it comes to funding. So in that sense, it's not a good time.
Okay.
But if you wait for a good time, there never will be good time.
Yeah.
You deal with what you have. You know.
Yeah. Those that nursing profession, I was thinking of getting into that myself. I was contemplating it, and I know a lot of women are into it. Is that linked anyway to the Valkyries? Because that's like the perfect timing. Like they have access.
The word nurse is just the new ruse.
Oh, okay.
And the nurse has replaced the nun.
All right. Yeah.
In the day-to-day activities of collecting DNA and making babies for the system. And the nuns and Latter-day Saints are doing it in special cases, but a lot of the babies that are made in labs these days are adopted by women who are either teachers or nurses out in the world, and they're added to their families. And I believe my parents went through something like that they weren't really my parents. And the evidence appears that same thing with Jennifer's family, that they in fact brought in children rather than the mother having the children. So it's the ruse. The nuns are the original Arabs. You know, they still in many cases dress the same way, and they're just Christian Arabs instead of Muslims, but they swear that they will make babies for Jesus.
Yeah, you gotta see what they go through.
Be married to God type of thing. So if you're married, you're being genetically engineered if you're not having sex. I think the gray nuns are the mulatto makers of the world. In any event, that's the time I had. So I'll talk to you again sometime.
All right. Okay, Glenn. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye for now.